Welcome back. It's a segment where we dedicated this segment to women in business to highlight what they are doing within their small spaces to contribute to national development and growth as far as the economy is concerned. So we've been joined in the program by two lovely ladies, and Yola Adeyemi, she's a creative director, The Gift Shop by Henny Berry, and also Ayomide Oduni, founder and creative lead at Irawo Baduke. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you for having us.
So let me start with you. Exactly, I like to start with what you do, and then we can now look at the business environment.
Okay.
Let's start with you.
Okay, so at the Gift Shop by Henny, what we do basically is we create elegant gift boxes, fresh fruit baskets, and hampers, and we deliver this to clients, and we just want to be part of their ceremony and deliver happiness to them.
So do you provide the gift itself, or
Yes.
you provide the baskets?
No.
Because they are two.
Yeah, so we curate.
Curate.
Yes,
Oh.
yes. So based on the client's preference, we've asked our clients what would they want, what's the best thing to give to them. And we've had people in the diaspora also, because they've been away for so long, and they want to share happiness to their loved ones, get well soon, I'm just missing you. So this kind of gifts are what we curate based on the client's preference, and that's what we deliver to them.
I'm going to come back to you as to different conditions of life and how to respond with gifts. So let me come to Ayomide. Ayomide, tell us what you do.
All right, so my brand Irawo Baduke creates adire, but we don't just create adire as per we design with tie and dye and batik, but we tell African stories using those techniques. So sometimes it's as simple as what I'm wearing, just your brand name or your name, and it can be as intricate as symbols. The idea is whatever story you want to share with the world, your adire can share that story for you.
Absolutely. So that means you're talking about preserving culture in that sense.
Precisely.
So
Yeah.
how is that coming through? In terms of, in terms of patronage, in terms of support. Let's begin from there.
Okay. Interestingly, it's been beautiful. It's nice to know that a lot of people have stories to share, but not everyone will say it with their words. Fashion has always been a means of self-expression and cultural expression. So people have taken to customized adire like, a camel to water, really. And our first order in 2020, interestingly, was from the diaspora. So support has been both from the diaspora and Africans at home.
Fantastic. I was looking at your hair, and I remember that the governor of Niger has retracted what he said, talking about dreadlocks. So let's come to you. So walk us through, because we're trying to x-ray the businesses that women do.
Okay.
With that, we can develop a mental algorithm in that sense and know how to pitch to government to say, this is why female businesses or women businesses must be supported. So let's walk through your process. You say you curate in that sense. So
yes, sir.
if somebody is in a hospital, like the kind of gifts.
Get well soon.
If somebody is getting married, I'm giving you a scenario now. So you can add your own.
Okay.
Somebody's getting married. What a kind of gift. If somebody just graduated from, maybe your child graduated from the uni, great grades, and you want to say, okay, I would like to do something special. So walk us through the layers of how you think and what is befitting for each occasion in that sense.
Okay, like birthdays, what do the client want? So we ask the client first. They know this client, and so we ask them, what do they want, and how can we make them happy? So it's not that you are giving them a gift and it's worthless to them. So you are curating a thoughtful gift and personalized. So when they see this client, when they see this gift, it makes them smile. So it's a foster relationship. And for someone who is graduating, I, as a parent, I know what my child has been wanting, and that is what I will want to give to the person. For wedding ceremonies, these people are creating home newly, maybe wedding, home making items, cooking utensils, and that's what we would do. So for someone in the hospital, we know that a fruit basket is what the person will want. The person is getting well, and they need fruits to recuperate, so beverages and all the likes, with a get well soon notes. And these are things that brighten up people and in their emotions. So it helps you connect to people on an emotional level. If you are trying to say thank you to them, the thank you gift, maybe someone who have impacted you so greatly, you can create a basket, either groceries you can give to them, just to say thank you to them. So
the current economy under Bola Tinubu has been very tough on Nigerians. In fact, perhaps the toughest in the recent history of our country. Everybody is feeling the heat. So there's prioritization in terms of what people want to spend their money on, which is why I'm happy I'm having this conversation with you. So at the end of the day, I want to be sure my family is eating first. Let's eat and survive. We're able to go to work, put fuel in the car or whatever means of transportation you use. And maybe another priority in case there's a health incident, you take care of that. So all of this may be neither here nor there. So how are you surviving as a business person? And I'm going to throw that question to you as well. In a business where it's something that people can say, I can do without it. In fact, some people now do weddings without even doing souvenir, like I can't keep myself. I just marry, I want to marry.
Okay, so for that, I believe, so there's a general notion, Nigerians like to celebrate.
Yes.
So that's just it. So as long as there's a need to celebrate, there will always be a need to create thoughtful gifts. So the market will always be there. It keeps growing. And because of social media also, it has enabled gift curators to keep putting their gifts out there. So we have Nigerian notion, it's already embedded in us. So even though, yeah, the economy is not doing so well, but there's still a need, there's still a market for that, and which keeps growing up.
How has the economy affected you? That's actually my question.
Okay, it has affected in a way that, okay, so for like hampers, we do hampers and fruit baskets, and during festive period, we have organizations, they try to give gifts to their clients, but then we know that we have seen a reduction in that, but it has not totally gone out. So though now employers prioritize the gifts they are giving to clients, so not as much as before, but there has been a reduction because of the economy.
All right, similar questions to you, Ayomide. In that you play within that same space where, yes, technically your own people must wear clothes, but I'm not sure your clothes are cheap. Okay, maybe not too affordable, or whatever term you want to use to describe it. Tell us how you're working through the very fine lines of a very difficult economy.
Okay, so I will piggyback off what Eniola said. The truth is, Nigerians we're big on appearances, we're big on celebrations.
Especially women.
No, I'm not going to say that.
It's what it is.
But we are big on, you know, how we look. People would create customized attire just for a photo shoot for their birthday. They are not wearing it anywhere yet. It's just for that photo shoot. So people are like that. But yes, initially, especially when the Tinubu regime started, there was a bit of a decline in terms of orders. But what we've had to do to make that work is that we've sort of improvised, right? We've had to introduce products that make what we do essential. So instead of just saying, come and get fabrics, people say, before I get tailored, before, you know, all of that drama. So now we do, okay, you can buy t-shirts, Adire t-shirts. You're not so
already made.
Extra, already made. We're even looking into, we're planning on launching our ready-to-wear line sometime before the second quarter ends. So we keep evolving to ensure that we meet our clients' needs. They will wear clothes. So they may not want to spend extra money for tailor, but if I've made the fabric, it's beautiful, and I've made it into an outfit, they'll buy it and they'll wear it. What's
the biggest cost component? I heard the DG of the, I think, Textile Association. I've forgotten the full description of his title, but the person who has the textile industry. We're talking about garment, textile, and tailoring and all of this industry. And there was a day I wore traditional to make a present. We presented on the weekend, and so we had to wear traditional. And somebody who plays in that sector called me, a respected leader of the labor union, said, I'm happy you look authentic. However, I can tell you that about 90% of what you're wearing is not from here. They imported this, they imported that, they imported this. He was just giving me, I'm just wearing clothes, I'm feeling good with myself, that I'm wearing traditional. So talk about your cost component and how imports is affecting your business as well. Because you're speaking on behalf of the people that are playing in your space.
In that space, yes, that's correct. So it's interesting in a painful way, I'll be honest. Between May last year and now, prices of practically everything we use have doubled and doubled again and doubled again.
Okay. So how many doubles do we need to count? I'm counting.
Yeah, you can count about double maybe 3 or 4 times, really. So our fabrics are imported. The fabrics we use for the dyeing are imported. There is a particular kind that is made here in Nigeria, but not a lot of clients want it.
Let's rewind. The fabric you used to do the adire?
To do the dyeing, yes.
The dyeing.
Large, yes.
Okay.
A large
the material, it says, what do you call it? Is it the garment now? Okay.
Yes, the fabric.
That fabric is imported?
Yes, without the dye, without the design on it, yes.
So that means the most essential part of what you're using for what is called quote-unquote traditional is imported.
Yes. So we have some fabrics that are made here. A particular fabric made here in Nigeria is called funtua. However, a lot of clients don't like funtua for a lot of reasons. They consider it not as qualitative as these other fabrics. So that's another issue. And that's made here in Nigeria. So it should be more accessible and more affordable. But there's that issue as well. Our cost of dyes have gone up. Chemicals have gone up. It's just been interesting. So as those have been going up, what we found is that business owners have had to bear the costs to some degree, but eventually we've had to push off some of the cost as well to the customer base because you cannot operate at a loss. So it's been. It's not
this is very heartbreaking to hear that what you're saying, so for the purpose of reference to the audience, the most important component of producing PMS, fuel, that we use in our cars is the crude oil. And so you're saying that the crude oil of producing adire, which is the fabric itself, is imported. It's
mostly imported, yes, that's correct.
Oh, dear. Let me throw it to Kaide, my colleague who is in Abuja studios. Maybe he has some questions for you, Kaide.
Jeffrey, I have probably hundreds of questions on my mind, particularly when you touch on that issue around locally made by Nigeria and the fact that a huge component of the work that is done for Ayomide is imported. And I want to quickly stay with that. So Funtua is meant to be the hub of, cotton work in Nigeria. But I understand that there's only one factory standing, and it's not even standing that strong. So how do we find a way around this? Because if they don't get patronage, and I'm talking about the factories, they will close down. But you say a lot of Nigerians say they want quality in that sense, or something that is more quality. The other climes have been able to find a way to churn out quality, but it didn't start that way. They had to learn as well. So how do we balance this buy made in Nigeria, in spite of the fact that it might not be the quality you're looking for, but you know that you're putting money into a local business, you're providing jobs, you're keeping the money in-house, which will help them to then grow to provide that quality that you want. Is there a way, I don't want to call it blackmail, but is there a way to pass the message across and use that emotional bit to hold Nigeria down, or Nigerians down, to patronizing made in Nigeria?
Absolutely. So the truth is, Nigerians are more eager to patronize made in Nigerian products and brands than they used to be. And I believe that the reason they've become more, open to this is because Nigerian brands, small businesses as well as established businesses, we've proven ourselves that we can compete on the global stage. We have what it takes, we have the quality. And so usually what happens is they may say, I've had clients that said, oh, I only buy from XYZ person. I don't even really do adire. But by the time they buy once, they go, oh, your quality is really nice. The next thing, someone else reaches me and says, XYZ person referred me. The person that had said she doesn't patronize Nigerian brands. So I feel like the more Nigerian brands not just say, oh, patronize made in Nigeria, but we prove it with the quality that we produce. There's no blackmail needed. Everyone likes quality. And if it's now ours, Nigerians are proud of Nigerians. We are very proud people. So naturally, they will patronize if we're offering quality.
Well, that's on a larger scale, but I'm saying when you talk about the fabric itself, by the way, Funtua is in Katsina State, and they say, well, I don't like Funtua, I like the one that is imported. And they see you as a made in Nigeria brand, but they forget that the Funtua they are rejecting is made in Nigeria, and the one they want is made outside Nigeria. So that's the point I'm trying to make. To find a way to still maybe sit them down sometimes and tell them, well, you see, this one is made in Nigeria and you're supporting Nigerian brands. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Perhaps we'll come back to that, but let me go to Eniola.
Yeah, right.
I know for you, maybe a lot of your products are not made in Nigeria. Maybe you can correct me, but a lot of those gift items are probably made outside Nigeria or not. So what component of what you're doing right now is made in Nigeria? How much of it is made outside Nigeria, Eniola?
Okay, so for us, for the fruit baskets, we have two segments. So there we have the fruit basket. Fruits are locally imported. So we have fruits in Nigeria. We have the basket are in Nigeria. So that one, there's no problem with that, except for when the fruits are seasonal and you can't get certain fruits in, but you can always replicate and use other to substitute. But then we have for the other AMPA, which is the government's AMPA, AMPAs. we have to import, so we have to buy from importers, and the cost is so high up. But then for clients who still want them in their packages, they have to pay the cost, and that is what has been. We have been trying to adjust, and Nigeria, naturally, we adapt. And so if the price changes, but because of what it's going to do for me, and the relationship is very important to me, I will pay the cost. And that is what we've seen people do. We've seen our clients still maintain that. For people who can afford it, we go for it. And that's why we have different options, and we work with people's budgets. So when a client comes in, we ask them what their budgets are. And so we are able to give them varieties of options to pick from.
I think we need to have this conversation. You see people now say, no, let's do agbalumo, let's have African cherry in this fruit park. No. Let's stick with fruits that we have here in Nigeria. But I want you to speak to our gift-giving culture in Nigeria. How much of it do we have? So here, it's your birthday, for example, and people are the ones telling you to celebrate your birthday for them. They're asking, what will you give us? But it's my birthday. You are meant to give me something, right? I usually find it curious when it's people's birthday and say, oh yeah, celebrate birthday for us. I'm like, no, you should celebrate me. So how would you describe the gift giving or the gifting culture in Nigeria, really, from your own experience? Do we need to do better?
Yeah, so the gifting culture for Nigerians, yeah, most people, they won't celebrate you because that was part of my story, and that was part of what got me here. On special occasions, I rarely get gifts. And so that's why I decided to change the narrative by starting to do the gifting. So that aside. So, but not just on birthdays, people give gifts. Get well soon. I miss you. So a lot of people are outside the country and they send gifts just for any reason. In the line of business, I've seen people give gifts for different reasons that I never thought of. So people are still giving gifts. So the fact that some people are not doing it does not mean others are not doing the same.
All right, let's come back. So let's come back to Aligo here to see what else, the level of intervention that is required. So I'll start with you. If governments were to bring you to the table, let's have a conversation. We know you're struggling or you're having a challenge. You say you've X'd it by 4 times or so in terms of your cost component. Of course, you're going to pass it on to all of us one way or the other. What are you going to be telling the government that you need to do to further scale or even float and say sustainable?
Okay, so I believe that for people that create hand-dyed fabrics, 2 things that matter to us are, it would be great to have raw materials here, right, not have them imported. So if we can have manufacturing of those items here, creating our dyes here, creating our fiber here, first thing. Second thing that is a big deal for people that create hand-dyed fabrics is manufacturing space. Adire requires space. And for producers that are in urban places, people that are in rural areas, if you are in rural Abeokuta, you are in Ile-Ife, it's easier, there's landmass for you to use, and those are indigenous producers of Adire. But if you're in Lagos, you need space to create your Adire. So if government was to intervene, for instance, I would say let's have a hub for textile designers, a manufacturing space where they can just be, it can be a place where, a co-working space, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. We must thank you so much for bringing us into your world, and at least everybody who's listening can have an idea of what you do and the challenges you face and how you've been working around it. Eniola Adeyemi is the creative director of the gift shop by Annie Berry, and Ayomide Oduni is the founder, creative lead at Irawo Baduke. Ladies, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having us.
Fantastic. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you the last leg of the conversation. Join us again in just a moment. We'll be right back.